along with this week's edition of the Irish Golfer Podcast. Peter Finnan here, and joined as always by Ronan McNamara.
How are we, lads?
And Mark McGowan.
Signing in here on a bank holiday Monday evening. That's dedication for you.
Cracking the whip, isn't it? It is cracking the whip. Listen, we've been keeping it good, keeping it consistent the last few weeks. So let's not break a good thing, but
last week was on a Wednesday.
Yeah, we were waiting for news to break, Ronan. That was good. There was a good reason for that. But lots going on over the weekend. It's hard to know. I don't know where we start with this one. Is it which 54-hole limited event field with no cut do we get stuck into, the one with or without ranking points? I don't know, but what do you think, lads? Which one we get stuck into first?
Let's talk about the one at the iconic golf course, Mayakoba. What a spot!
No, we'll go into PGA Tour first. I suppose it's easier. It's a day and a bit old at this stage, but I watched bits and bobs of it. How did you watch it or see much of it?
I watched bits and bobs of it, yeah, and I was really looking forward to watching it last night on Sunday. And then I was really looking forward to watching tonight on Monday, and obviously the weather decided to have its way, but it was shaping up to be a really, really good final round. Unfortunately, didn't get played, but fair play to Wyndham Clark. Like, to shoot 60, I suppose, would he have shot another good round? If there was a fourth round, who knows? It's hard to follow it up. But look, conditions look really tough all week. Like, balls are plugging left, right and centre in the fairway. Like, look like you're going to play your own local winter league down your own golf club. But it's a shame it didn't get played. But you'd forget Wyndham Clark was a US Open champion. Now he's up to 6th in the world. Like, this fella's a top player. I know there's going to be an asterisk now beside his name for this win, but no, it was another good tournament. Not a fan of it being a signature event and a pro-am at the same time. I think that does take away from it a little bit, but no, it was good.
Yeah, it was a strange dynamic to the tournament, all right. It's good that they clip back the pro-am side of it to 2 rounds only, and then supposedly leave the pros only to the weekend, but it just didn't work out. But it never really works out in this tournament at all. Like, it's like preferred lies first 2 rounds. I seen McGinley was going mad. Like, would you actually vote quick, yes or no? Would you count Wyndham Clark's round as counting for the record books?
No.
Mark,
but they're counting it, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, there was no choice. You had to play this. This wasn't a play prefer lies because it might rain tomorrow, so we're just preemptive. Let's say we're putting preferred lies in place. Like I remember I texted into the group on Friday or Thursday, watching like McIlroy's first tee shot. We watched it. I thought it was in the rough because you didn't see it come down to the fairway. It turned out he was bang smack in the middle of the fairway, but you would have needed a JCB to excavate his ball from the ground. It was about 6 inches underneath the surface of the ground. So like, it was so wet, sopping wet. There was no way in hell you could have done anything other than play preferred lies. So in that scenario, I think it should count.
No, preferred lies, I'm all for. That's fine. But preferred lies in my book is 6 inches. These boys are playing a club length, which is like totally off the charts. Trying to, you're like, you've such a good opportunity to change surface when it's a club length. Like, you can change angles of pretty much anything in approach shots. I know Wyndham Clark didn't miss many fairways, but still, he got to change surface a couple of times throughout that round from like the heavier cut of rough into the lighter cut of rough by using the one club length. So I'm not counting it. Not for me.
Okay, no, well, I agree with that. That's a load of bollocks. If you're in the rough, you got to drop it in the rough.
Yeah, so like it was just a club length is just a massive amount of stuff. So it was still a savage game of golf. But yeah, what you said about balls, I was looking that up. 12 lost balls over the first 3 rounds. Wyndham Clark actually lost a ball on day 1 and Spyglass himself. And they weren't lost as in off the property. Plugged balls. All of these balls were plugged. And I think they counted 4 of the 12 balls were actually lost on the fairways. So like, it's just off the charts, like the amount of plug balls they were getting relief. And then obviously with less people on the property than on day 3 as well, you've less people to look, and there's so much at stake. But yeah, balls going missing like that's not ideal.
Yeah, I mean, it was a horrible look for the PGA Tour, really. I mean, your signature event at this iconic golf course. You've actually, for the first time outside of the US Open, which obviously the PGA Tour don't run, this is the first time that they've actually got all their stars coming to it, like to Pebble Beach, to one of the most famous golf courses in the world. And what's more, there's no NFL. That's like we all know that's the big clash on a Sunday in America this time of year, or from August onwards or September onwards. NFL on the Sundays, everybody watches the NFL. Nobody watches the golf. There's no NFL on this weekend. They're like, this is it, rubbing their hands together. This is our time. And then the weather, God opens the heavens and just decides to piss down all over them.
Yeah,
And then, and we'll get into it, ended up being the story.
Yeah, no, it did. But like, did you see though some of the weather? Like during the practice round, did you see Tony Finau hit driver into the seventh, into the par 3-7, like 106 yards? Did you see that video?
That's
like,
the shame with the weather. We would have seen some outrageous scenes on that par 3 if the final round went ahead. In fairness, like, it would have been box office viewing. But unfortunately,
I saw a couple of people were were saying that like the tour what they should have done was they should have got the guys out and just like did a nearest the pin competition on 7 yesterday or something like that, because they're all hanging around all day anyway. They're doing nothing. The players are probably all bored out of their tits. Like, just if they all went out there and did a nearest the pin competition or something like that, 1 shot or 3 shots each or something like that, would have given them some sort of talking point, something to keep them kind of like relevant or in the conversation over the day. But no, nothing like that. Just sat around all day, did nothing, waited for the call, and obviously when the call did come, it was to say, pack your stuff, you're all going home.
Head off, going home. Yeah, you're off to the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Yeah, but most of them. But I don't know. Can they find a better like weather window for this tournament, like a better time of the year? Because it always seems to be disruptive. Like last year was a Monday finish with Justin Rose. I remember back in 2009, pretty similar to what happened this week. Dustin Johnson won it in 54 holes. This thing has been shortened to 36 holes a few times as well, with back a good while ago. You know, it's always, I think it's like, of all the tournaments I know, this is the most weather disrupted tournament. And for like a 20 million quid signature event, you'd think they'd find a better window in the calendar, because obviously this is troublesome time in California.
Yeah. And as far as I'm aware, like there's like 10 months of the year where California gets great weather. And it's the January, February kind of time where it can get squirrely enough. And that's exactly the kind of time that the PGA Tour tend to go to California. Like,
it was.
Yeah, it's madness. I mean, if things do change around, and if we've kind of talked about whether there's a possibility for actually having like a global schedule and everything, like fitting tournaments into better time windows is going to have to take a major priority if that ever does happen. Like just to avoid like shit shows like this.
No, definitely.
It's the Europeans I feel sorry for. Like, the lads were punching again there this week. Oberg up there in second, Pavon going for back-to-back. I was firmly on that train. Thomas Detry, never out of the top 10 these days. You Justin Rose
never
up
in
there
the top
again.
one.
Never in the top one. Then you fellas like Jason Day hanging around there, JT up there again. Like, the leaderboard was stacked with top quality players, which you never really get at that tournament. So I was very much looking forward to a bit of Bank Holiday Monday evening viewing there with not much else on, unless Brentford beat Man City, of course.
Yeah, but you got it with Liv. We'll get on to Liv in a few minutes, but like on that though, on the like the Europeans up there again, like you're definitely, I'm seeing messaging and features and stories coming from like American outlets. They are getting a bit pissed off with the Europeans coming over and featuring so heavily in these early season events as well. Like, it doesn't even matter of time before like an American audience gets a bit peeved off with the like of
We're gonna
Pavon
go
and
all South Park
Detry
on
and
it. They took our jobs.
yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, especially in signature events, like they'll start to question why 10 Europeans are getting cards soon enough, because it's not. It's an American, and in their eyes, it's the PGA Tour, it's the American tour, and that's it. And it should be Americans up there the whole time. So, like, I'm not saying that this fed into why it suited them to blow it up after 54 holes, because I honestly think if this played, I do think between Pavon and Ludwig, they would have mowed over Wyndham Clark.
It seems mad to say that about a US Open champion. He just wouldn't have stood a chance out there like today if it went ahead after shooting 60 in round 3. Like, it's obviously really hard to follow that up, but you're just like plainly writing him off as just, your run-of-the-mill PGA Tour player. Like, you just don't consider Wyndham Clark as a US Open champion whatsoever.
Yeah,
I
he's
still
not
look
the
at
type
Wyndham
of killer
Clark
on
as
a
the
golf
man.
course. Like,
I still look at Wyndham Clark as the man who couldn't get it done in was it Bermuda or the Bahamas last year in one of those opposite field events during the match play. Well, I had him picked as my one and done for the week, and he absolutely shit the bed coming down like 16, 17, 18. 3 months later, he's won the signature event. He's won the US Open. And I'm like, oh, jeez, you couldn't fucking do it when I wanted you to do it. Like,
it was unreal on the greens. That's one thing you do have to give him credit for. Like, I know they're tough greens, like Pebble Beach with the POA, and it's very bumpy, it's wet, like not nice surfaces to put on. And like, you take on a round by round basis, the average PGA Tour player will hold, say if you go like an average on any one day, they'll hold 80 feet of putts. For his 3 rounds, he held close to 500 foot of putts. So like, he hold some serious yardage. So like, he deserved it when they're blowing it up after 54 holes. But yeah, I just think the other boys were simmering in behind him. It was funny. I don't know if any of you get a message yesterday. A few people actually sent it to me. Like, Paddy Power still had the book open, given 2-1 on Wyndham Clark yesterday, but they had sneaky little fine print of if you back while in play and another. So if you put your bet on and no more shots are hit, your bet is void. So like, loads of people were lumping on Wyndham Clark last night, saying, surely this is a mistake. Like, they're just going to blow this up and pay us out. But no, didn't happen.
That's why you shouldn't gamble.
Very rarely get caught like that.
Yeah, Paddy Power don't get caught with their pants down on those things. But yeah, like, it was a good leaderboard. From an Irish point of view, Seamus Power actually did finish well this week after my boo-boo last week. He actually did finish well, 68 to get up to tied 31st. He'd 8 birdies in his final round, seemed to click into a bit of gear anyway. And yeah, he's like, he banked a fair bit for that. He moves up the rankings a little bit, but nice to see him just cementing his way in, like top 30 finish pretty much in a field like that will stand him in good stead going forward.
Yeah,
and
70,
it was
72, 69, 68. The man was getting better all the time there as the tournament went on. So yeah, it was more like his old self, really rolling in the putts. Just a shame he couldn't play the final round, because I think a top 20 finish wouldn't have been beyond his reach. So it's good to see him play 3 solid rounds this time. Hopefully he can keep it going. Like, he's into the next signature event in the Genesis, so like, there's opportunity always knocking for him, even though like he's been on the slide outside the top 100 now for the first time in a couple of years. But like, he's into, unlike Larry, like, he's into all the big events. Like, it won't take too much for him to start climbing the rankings again.
Yeah, and there was a bit of a draw bias there in that tournament as well. So Power played Pebble Beach the first day and Spyglass Hill the second day, which was like the opposite to McIlroy and a lot of them. And nearly all the guys at the top of the leaderboard had all played Spyglass the first day and Pebble the second day. Because they actually played. I think I read the statistics of it. It was like roughly a 4-shot differential between the guys on either side of the draw, which I know it's an 80-man field, so it's a smaller sample size for that. But I mean, that's still quite significant. So I mean, Pebble Beach is a place that that Power's played really well at before. He's finished 9th and 15th, I think, the last 2 years at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and each time that he's played on the round at Pebble Beach, it was like obviously over 3 different courses in the previous years. He's played he's played well at Pebble Beach, so he was going to get another shot at it again on the Sunday. You definitely think he probably would have improved again. Finished tied 31st, but could have been up. May have squeezed into the top 20 if he'd have got the 4 rounds in. So, I mean, great to see positive, good signs of white smoke from him, because it's been a tough enough start to the year for him. Obviously, shaking off a bit of rust and missed a good bit of time towards the end of last year, but I mean,
no, it's good signs.
It's great to see him going in the right direction.
Good signs. Yeah, McIlroy done well too. He finished with a 69. Considering the second round 74 was a disaster, but like at least like these lads all knew going out as well on day 3, like that. Pretty much there was a 90% chance this was going to be the last round, so they were just literally shooting at everything, saying, right, chances are this is going to be blowing up early. But he like McIlroy was a strange one this week, that like he never really, I don't think he ever warmed to Pebble. He's not a big fan of Pebble. Like he rarely plays this tournament. Obviously he did this week, but like in Spyglass on day 1, he got off to an absolute, like he was on a radiator to start. He was flying 6 under through 12 holes, and then just like he went full Pierce Purcell on the back 9. Like he like the last 6 holes, took a 2-stroke penalty for a dodgy drop. Forgot the rules and had it like in his head the 2019 rules rather than the new rules from 2023. So got a 2-stroke penalty. But yeah, it was a bit mad.
Yeah, but we've spoken about this before about the Dubai Invitational. It's just McIlroy all over at the moment. There's just no guarantee. Like he could be 17 under after 17 holes, but you don't know, he could double the last. Like that's just the way it's going. As far as the drop goes and the 2-shot penalty, Caddy's got to know the rules there. I'm sorry, 100%. Caddy's got to know the rules. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, it's the one time I actually will. It's the one time I will give the caddy a bit of stick. Yeah, he should have known.
And it's funny. I had no idea that they had brought in a rule where you could drop a club length either side, like before changing it back to the original rule. And I had no idea that rule was changed in 2019. Before, never mind to know that it was changed back again. But I mean, obviously, I'm not playing for millions on the PGA Tour, so playing for 20 quid voucher down in Ross's Point.
But yeah, he still won the Pro-Am. Like that's the mad thing, and there's two. Like he was 12 shots off Aberg after 36 holes, and his amateur teammate, obviously a bit of handicap juicing going on. I was looking at it, but he plays off 9.
Rory did.
No, yeah, Rory won the Pro-Am. Yeah, Rory and his partner won the Pro-Am.
This was a SLG Investments or something like that. I did look him up before it.
Yeah, he's only a young lad, but he was playing off 9 handicap when I was looking at it. So, in fairness, a decent handicap. But like, you think when your pro finishes 12 shots off the leading pro, like Dermot Desmond was playing with Aberg. I don't know what. You wouldn't have to do too much to win that.
Yeah. No. Well, I'm glad to see that managing director of an investment company McIlroy is playing with. I'm glad to see a bit of good fortune go his way.
He deserves it.
Could do with a touch of luck, I'd say.
Anything else on the PGA Tour? Flicking down the leaderboard, I see old Nick Dunlap finished 80th out of 80 players. Wasn't the best of weeks for him. 76, 74, 73. There's only he has to kick on from this, Ronan.
He can't do much worse. But it's funny, like, isn't it? Like, I know, like, his win was brilliant and all, but essentially he was playing on a golf course that he would play on pretty much every week in college. It's shoot the lights out. It's a birdie train, and like I read a few things about him during the week. He was saying how tired he was, and I was kind of like, that's, like, it's your first week as pro. You should be, buzzed out of it to get going and be raring to go here. I just didn't really like the feelings out of him. Like, obviously he must have had a lot of media commitments and everything, and that'll obviously take getting used to and all. But I was kind of like, you should be here pumping the gun, ready to go. Like, you should be full of energy, enthusiasm, everything. And it looked like he just didn't want to be there.
He was up counting his money all night.
Yeah, no, not just that. Like he's been like drinking like a fish, I'd say, for 2 weeks, celebrating with all the lads from college. Like, so I'd give him a free pass this week.
I would say he probably enjoyed
Reality
himself
check.
when he went back to
Reality
college.
check.
I would say he enjoyed himself when he went back to college. He was in the student union bar, buying drinks all around him, giving little winks and nods to all the little sorority chicks.
Oh,
I would
that's
say
impressive.
he had a good week.
I hope he deferred his international business course anyway. You might need it.
Oh, stop. Right, let's move on from the
Well, just
PGA Tour.
before we
on.
go from McIlroy, one thing is, look, these are Poana greens that Pebble Beach and Spyglass have as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's a huge Achilles heel of McIlroy's. Like,
Yeah.
all the victories he's had worldwide and on the PGA Tour, like not a single one of them have come on a course with Poana greens. It's all Bermuda or all bent grass or some variety of those. But like when it comes to Poa greens, it seems to be like kind of like a mental thing with him. Like he was atrocious with his approach play this week as well. He was poor on the greens, but his approach play was dreadful. And I mean that's something that he's become so good at. And this was pure target golf. Wet. Fire at pins. It should have really like played to his strengths. But I think when it comes to playing on Poana greens, he kind of thinks I have to like stick this in dead, really.
Yeah.
He doesn't trust himself to hold 12, 15 footers, which then leads to, if you're putting additional pressure that I have to get this close, you're obviously more likely to make mistakes than anything. But thankfully, that's the end of the West Coast swing for McIlroy now. I think the next time we're going to see him is in what's the next? Oh no, it'll be the Riviera actually. So he's one more go on the Poana greens. But
the one thing I will give him credit
to get
for,
him back to the West Coast.
The one thing I'll give him credit, like not give him credit for, but give him a pass on. He's a high spin player, and this tournament did not suit guys that spin the ball so much because it's so soft. Like they're getting 30, 40 feet of spin no matter what they're hitting into greens, and there was a lot of back flags as well, and like you just couldn't go long and spin it back. But if you landed pin high, you're ripping back 25, 30 foot. So it really did mess with proximity to the hole stats and stuff like that for high spin players. So I'll give him a free pass on that this week.
Right. Let's get on to the main event.
Let's get on to the main event. Yeah, right. Liv, all the stars aligned for them this week. Like, I have to say, I was really looking forward to watching this, and I said it last week. I'm looking forward to just seeing what the product is, seeing what it is, and yeah, they absolutely smashed it out of the park. Like, you couldn't. Ram joins and wins for his team in the first event. They have a 59. They have a finish in the dark with two big players, and to top it off, they do it against the tour's biggest event of the year so far, on the most famous golf course in America, which was on its absolute knees and a mess, and they couldn't make 72 holes of it. So, like, the stars just aligned for Live Golf this week.
Yeah, the product looked a lot better. Like, admittedly, I only watched the last hole in regulation simply because I didn't know where to watch it. And, like, if you don't know it's on TV, you're not going to go looking for it, unfortunately. So I watched the last hole in regulation, watched Sergio and Niemann go up the playoff hole twice. Then I fell asleep for 20 minutes, and then I had to go out somewhere. But look, the product looked much better. No ads is obviously a big help. The music is a bit annoying, so if you want to go and mute it, you could be better off. But like, I always did like the highlights thing they show for a minute and a half. Like, it's good to see what other players are doing. Like, they show a lot of relevant shots as well. It's not just, some Henrik LeBoyd or whoever he is on +4 hitting a 9-iron to 2 feet in like the 17th on a Sunday. It's none of that nonsense. But the team thing still, I can't really buy into it at all. I just don't see how it means anything to the players, to be honest. Like, Rams after finishing bogey, I just don't get how we can be happy with that.
I hit back at that. I think
I'm not having it at all.
Yeah, I know you're not, like, but I think the consequence of the team thing makes far more sense now that they're counting 4 players. I watched it last year and it didn't move too much. Like, you had serious fluctuations on the leaderboard yesterday. between Legion 13, Crushers, Torquay, and Ripper getting involved a little bit as well. But it was I really, really enjoyed this tournament. I've never enjoyed a live tournament up to this, and I've never tuned in from start to finish of the final round of a live event or any round of a live event up to this. But what they served up yesterday, I just thought, like, as a leaderboard, as the drama of what's going on the golf course, like, that was as good as, probably better than anything you will get served up on the PGA Tour this season outside of the signature events. Like, your standard run-of-the-mill PGA Tour event, it doesn't hold a candle to what they had production value on that yesterday.
Yeah, well, in saying that, like, they got away with one with the situation of Pebble Beach being a signature event, and it was just washed out of it. So they got the free Sunday to themselves,
big time.
And now they're going up against, you know, the waste of space management Phoenix Open thing, which obviously is not a signature event. It's going to be a diluted field, which will obviously be hampered even more with the presence of Live now. So they're going to get another free run, it seems. I know the Super Bowl is on, but, like, you know, I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl, so I might tune into Live on the Sunday.
Yeah, but the Super Bowl's on in Vegas as well, and so is Live. I think it's all.
It's going to be a big piss up, but, like, no, they're going to have for the first 2 weeks in the season. I think they're going to come away from it relatively happy with how it's gone.
What do you think, Mark? Did you watch
it? I watched Niemann, or I watched the first day. Watched like the last maybe 5 or 6 holes of Niemann's round. And I thought the music. I almost thought the music had gone away. It seemed really, really quiet. You could barely hear it, and I was actually, like, I was kind of thanking the heavens. It's like, you know, it bothers me that, like, similar to Ronan, it bothers me the music that's playing. It's not that I don't mind. You know, obviously, I'm a big music fan. I listen to music all the time, but I don't want somebody else's music, like,
it's in your
pumped
face
at me.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, the first day it was fantastic. Obviously, like, shooting 59 is incredible achievement, and he did it on a day when I think the next best score to him was 600. I think, was it?
Yeah, it was a phenomenal first round score. Like, it was just different.
Like, he nearly lapped the field in that. Like, it was outrageous. I think I read somewhere, and since the strokes gained, in the strokes gained era, it was the third best round ever recorded, statistically. So that's across all professional tours that have the strokes gain data. So it was he was absolutely incredible, and to then sort of, like, you know, wobble a little bit on Saturday and then get assessed the 2-stroke penalty overnight. I just thought Sunday was going to be a fantastic watch, and I watched pretty much all of it. The music then started to, like, I think maybe towards the back nine, I think somebody just turned up the volume on the music. It just really started to bother me again. But I'm with Ronan on the team thing. I think for the team thing to have any sort of, to hold any interest for me, it needs to be like the standalone team events. A team component of an individual competition, like, doesn't do it. And I know that's the way, like, that's a lot of it happens, like, in American college competitions, for example. But that's college golf we're talking about. This is, like, professional golf. I don't want, like, either have team competitions or have individual competitions. I don't like the meshing of the two of them. And when I heard you say, like, the team names, you know, like, you Legion 13, Crushers, Torquay, Ripper, like, the names are just ridiculous.
The names are horrific.
Names are it's impossible to take anything seriously when you're, like,
yeah.
And that wasn't even mentioning the cliques or the Magistics or the Fireballs.
Magistics. The Thundercats. The Thundercats. It's all about the Thundercats. But
like, I agree with Mark there as well. Like, my gripe was actually mainly about the leaderboard music and the intermission music that they have as well. It's a bit OTT and dramatic, but having the pumping music in the background when you're going down the closing stretch on a Sunday afternoon, like, is a bit, I don't know, it just takes away from the golf itself, which was actually really, really good. Another thing as well, Sergio hadn't hit a ball for about 45 minutes there. and he didn't even bother once to go and warm up or take a few putts or anything. Once Niemann missed, he was like, right, back down the last we go, boys. Don't bother signing the card. Come on, we go back down the last. I
Well,
was like,
Sergio, it was a shotgun
you
start.
wouldn't see that. You wouldn't see that
It
in a
was a
month of
shotgun
Sundays
start.
in the PGA Tour.
Sergio probably thought like these lads are the lads in the group behind her must be finishing out on the last hole or something like that. He didn't think it was a shotgun start. Way you still have to wait 45 minutes for the next group to finish off. I mean, I think Ram actually got put on the clock in the first two rounds actually. Somehow
they were
didn't
well
get put
out
on
of
the
sync.
clock at the third round. I've no idea how to. Obviously, the rules officials just said is like we put Ram on the clock twice, and we've given Niemann a 2-stroke penalty. Let's just stay away from that group today.
Yeah.
We're liable to get a sandwich buried in the back of our head if we get too close to them today.
It was Dean Burmester. He was mixing it in and looking dangerous around the middle of the front nine on the last day, and I was like, there's a lad now that'll get a call into the embassy if he dares to mess up this tournament. But no, it all worked out well. I really enjoyed it, and I am starting to warm to the team element of it as well. There's a lot more consequence to it, and yeah, they yesterday just had everything. It had the drama, start to finish. I was just very interested in it. I haven't been before, and I'm really looking forward to Las Vegas now to checking it out again.
And I thought the two post-round interviews I can remember were incredible. With Niemann's one, when they asked him, mentioned him about him like hoping to get into the majors, and right, yeah, he got paid a boatload of money to go to live. Yeah, he just won another 4 million at the weekend, so it's hard to feel too sorry for the guy, but you can tell how desperate like he is to get in and play in the majors.
And people will say that. People will say he's been well looked after.
He is 100% worth his place in the majors. Let's say we want the best players in the world in them, and he is 100% one of those. But I just kind of you can tell that it means an awful lot to him to get playing in the majors. So I thought that was fantastic. And then the other interview when I can't remember her name or who it was, that when she was interviewing Ram after Ram has just finished bogey to to lose by 2, and she starts talking. I was like, how great is it for to see your teammate Kieran, or what is it, Kieran Vincent?
Yeah,
Kieran Vincent,
somebody Vincent anyway. Kieran, how great is to see Kieran Vincent, step up and win the team competition, and Ram's just like, I've just gone bogey and cost myself $2.5 million, and he just like he managed to somehow not like smash her in the face, but it was just brilliant. But in fairness to him, he didn't try and pretend, oh, it's great, the team is all that counts and everything. He was like, yeah, it's kind of hard to talk about this right now when I've just thrown a tournament away.
No, it was good. It was good. You summed up Vincent very well, Ronan. What did you call him?
What did I call him?
A shit Marcel Seam.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He does, yeah. Like, he's just ripping off Marcel. Marcel would have got that over the line last night.
Oh, stop. No, it was good. No,
Marcel would have got that over the line with about 6 fags in the mouth at the same time.
Marcel should be playing in the Waste of Space Management Phoenix Open this week. Like, he should be given one of those 10 PGA Tour cards. Get him over. He'd start throwing the cat amongst the pigeons, rattling a few cages.
I was going to say, myself and a couple of German journalists were following Marcel Seam at the Andalusia Masters this year. And at the start of the round, I said to them, we'll do an over-under on cigarettes smoked by Seam in the first 9 holes. So we figured we'd probably follow them for about 9 holes. And they were like, he was like, maybe 3. They were like 3 or 4. I think he had 6 smoked by the time he walked off the 5th green. That was fantastic.
He's some bio.
What a hero.
He's some bio. But no, I'd agree with you on the music. It's the one thing that I just think is a bit OTT, and I'd take all of those microphones or turn them down, the ones in the hole. Like, it just sounds like an XL 2000 Top Flight golf ball, like going into the hole every time, that mad jangly noise it makes. Like, but yeah, I'd tone that back. But I think they smashed most things that they've set out to. It's definitely a much better product than it was last year, and the addition of the players, like, we didn't see the like of Moronk or any of them feature this week. Like, they all fell well back, but it's it's not going to take them to get many more players to have this.
If they get Anthony Kim, I'm on board. They get
even
AK.
that. Like, I know I said this before, but yeah, I did see there was one notable withdrawal from the Waste Management Phoenix Open this week. And it would make perfect timing if it's true, but Victor Hovland's pulled out. So, like, it's perfect time for anyone to jump, like, if they have a status on the majors for this year and they're locked in with a PGA Tour card until 2026, because you know it's free money now. Something is going to give here.
Yeah. It's a good field as well for the Waste Management this week, just having to scroll through it. Like, there's a lot of top players playing, to be fair. Like, it's not, I don't know why, but this one doesn't seem to have suffered as much as something like the Farmers Insurance and other events that are going to like have diluted fields. This one's actually not too bad.
Yeah, no, it is, but it's
I think this is kind of an event where a lot of sponsors want their players to play in this one because it tends to get a lot more media attention, and hey, if you wear the jersey on the 16th, or if you do a little dance after you'll get on, you'll get exposure and everything. They're like we want you in that tournament for those kind of reasons. But I saw all the alternates were all the guys, like the DP World Tour guys who got their 10 cards. They were kind of all in their alternate spots. So Hovland withdrawing meant that Ryan Fox got in. And like Fox must have been pretty high. Fox might have been second or third in the 10 qualifiers from the European Tour.
They had the re-rank last week, though. They re-ranked all the cards last week. So I was reading up on stuff like that they had the re-rank last week. And so guys that have done well and gained X amount of FedEx Cup points over the first portion of the year have kind of ranked ahead of them. So obviously the like a Detry and Pavon. And
re-ranking after a month?
Well, it's back further because they started in September.
Yeah, Victor Perez is playing this week.
But
sure, it's a new season started in the 1st of January.
Who re-ranked it to let Victor Perez in?
But no, it'll be a good event. I'm looking forward to it. Like, I'm looking forward to the both of them this week. Like, the Phoenix Open is normally just a piss up.
Yeah, it's the usual. Come Sunday, it'll be, I like it, but I like it only once a year type of thing. There'll be loads of that on Sunday.
Yeah,
once they don't try and outlive it.
It's also a shit golf course up until they get to, like, the 16th is interesting because of everything that's going on around the hole, not necessarily the hole itself. But then the 17th is a great hole. That's the short par 4, the kind of drive to the other side of the. That's the one where the guy went streaking and went for the swim last year.
Yeah,
because he got up and was running around the 17th green, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, every year they get that. It'll be the same this year, just mayhem. But no, it'll be good. It'll be good. I did see propping up the live field as well. Going back to that, I was just scrolling through the L4 aces aren't off to the best start this year now. With Pat Perez was 11 over and Harold Varner was 14 over, and then Mickelson was 11 over as well. So yeah, a lot of big names struggling there. Your mate Andy Ogletree as well, Ronan.
Look,
8 over.
It's a long season. 14 events. It's a long season.
Worst round of the week, 8 over par in round 2, but he got it back together. Went under par in the last round. So
yeah, look, he's the man.
He's kicking on.
Yeah, not a good week for the range goats either.
No,
11th, 13th in the teams. Like, what's
best
going on,
logo,
lads?
Best logo.
Best logo. Best content as well, by fair.
But no, like
G-Mac,
it was good.
Rough enough start for G-Mac as well.
Yeah, but he actually he chipped in for an eagle at one stage as well. Did you see that?
Your perception of a chip in is just ridiculous.
Pitched in, literally full shot, whatever he hit.
Yeah, Larry did the same. Larry did the same, and it was unreal. Oh yeah, he chipped in there. You go down the pub. Larry chipped there from the side of the green. Yeah, how far?
Good.
About 180. Yeah.
there was a bit of a PR feck up again. Did you see last Wednesday when they did finally deliver the press releases when we were online? They spelled John Rahm's name wrong in the team things. Did you see that?
And they spelled they had him as Legion 12.
Legion 12, yeah. They had loads of stuff.
Legion XII.
They had loads of stuff they messed up on. So they're like, they're they're winging it a little bit, but they're getting away with it because the PGA Tour was such a mess this week. They've gotten away with it, but no.
The intern will learn. The intern will learn.
And as I have to say, when we're calling out amateurs doing well, the other side, Caleb Surratt done really well for his first event as well. 4 under the final round with a triple bogey, so he's a proper talent. He is like we called him out last week.
Faherty was having some taking some liberties with his. He was in a dorm room at the University of Tennessee last week. They couldn't get it. They couldn't get enough of that. And he's like talking about. He's like, oh, there was no champagne corked being uncorked at the University of Tennessee last week, and like everything. Anytime they mentioned him, it was like, can you believe this guy was at college last week? Yeah. We got it.
Right, moving on from those two things, the merger of everything golf. Obviously, when we were on air last week, it was Wednesday. That evening, then the deal was unveiled that SSG are getting involved in a new company with a $3 billion investment split down. So I know you were covering a fair bit of this, Mark, but like we'll have a chat about what it actually means for the PGA Tour first, and sort of I have some bullet points on my understanding of it, of what it breaks down. I don't know if you want to go first, or do you want me to go first to what I think it is or how it's going to work?
Yeah, I can take it away. So the Strategic Sports Group, which is a bunch of American sports team owners, so it includes the Fenway Sports Group, who own Liverpool, own the Boston Celtics. There's like a ton. I think there could be like about 11 or 12 professional sports teams owners, all within this group. So they are putting an initial investment of 1.5 billion, possibly up to 3 billion into the PGA Tour. So it's going to be into like a new venture called PGA Tour Enterprises, which is it's effectively like a kind of like another arm of the PGA Tour.
Company.
So the PGA Tour can still operate as a non-profit. So it'll get tax exempt status and everything, and then this new branch of it will handle like the commercial side of the business.
Yeah.
So, and can generate a profit, and they're very much expected to generate profit. So these guys are investing, and with a view to making a substantial return on the investment over the coming years. It's not really going to change the way the PGA Tour is run, or like the way the tournaments are structured. Nothing like that is really going to change in the foreseeable future.
Short term, yeah.
In the short term. But what the players, so leading up to maybe 200 PGA Tour players will have equity in PGA Tour Enterprises. So they're kind of part owners of it. So the 150 or 1.5 billion dollars worth of equity is going to go to the players. So, I mean, the players have always been independent contractors. That was a thing, of kind of a line that was touted over and over again, and kind of, in and around the live stuff and everything. There's always players. We're independent contractors. We can play where we want. We listed. Having equity in a way kind of ties them to the PGA Tour a little bit. Not like it's not a cast iron tie, but it gives them a financial interest in in the PGA Tour doing well outside of just increasing prize money. The PIF is the kind of like a big question. Everybody was, the deal or the framework agreement. This is kind of what PIF we're supposed to be kind of investing into. The PGA Tour obviously started negotiating with other companies on the side. It's believed that the SSG are of a view that PIF will come in and maybe take part of that investment. Maybe like 50% or 49% of SSG's investment will effectively be sold to the.
That's written in stone, I think. This is kind of like they're just kind of circumnavigate the court system in the States and the company makeup. So my understanding, they valued the entire business at 12 billion, and they've split it into different categories. Then, of category 1, they're going to give equity to headline players. Category 2, to current PGA Tour card holders. Then legends that made the tour, and then future players. But that only makes up 25% of the overall value. The other 25% then is the 3 billion that SSG are talking about. They're putting 1.5 billion in themselves, and they're opening that up for investment to someone else, which is already a done deal. I think that 49% of it's going to be sold to PIF, and that leaves sort of 25% to the players, split up into those 4 categories, and then 50% remains as sole ownership of the PGA Tour. But yeah, they're just trying to circumnavigate the court system. Like, I don't think the Department of Justice in the States like the framework that was laid out on June 6th last year, and these guys they're very clever. So they've tried to work out a way that PGA Tour can keep its charitable status on one hand, but also it's not the PGA Tour selling the shares in this new company. It's the SSG group. So you're not talking about a charitable organization being funded by a an out of state dictatorship, that is Saudi Arabia. So the PIF will get involved, but they will be buying their stuff from SSG. And from I rang a few people about it the other day, and my understanding is they will buy that before the Masters, and that's 100% set in stone. They will buy 49% of that 25% stake in this new business, and then they will go about forging the sort of direction that the tour will go in future. So it's a sly way of doing it, and it'll take a few years, from what I'm hearing, for this all to play out. So like anyone that thinks that PGA Tour and live players will be able to go back and forward over the next year, like, you will not see John Rahm back on the PGA Tour this year. Doubtful you'll see him next year, but it's looking like 2026 is the year that they will be trying to sort out all their media agreements and all the deals that they have going forward, and how they structure the tours, and looking more at a worldwide tour. So yeah, it's a strange one.
You
Yeah,
think when Ram,
Speed wasn't really having the potential for having the PIF lads on board after the £3 billion deal. Did you see that?
Yeah, and like, Speed took over Rory's place,
His spot, kind of, yeah,
on the thing, and like his presser. So the 2 interesting press conferences, if anyone gets a chance to listen to them from last week, that will explain this in a lot more detail from the player side. Is Jordan Spieth, I think, is a little naive in his comments in the way he was doing it. He thought, yeah, we can do this without Liv and stuff like that. And then Rory McIlroy, even though he's left it, came straight back in and flipped a script on it and said, like, a deal with PIF must happen. And his direct quotes, having PIF as your partner as opposed to not having them as your partner, I don't think is an option for the game of golf. I think they've committed to investing in golf and the wider world of sport. And him and Speed apparently had some debate after this, and they've agreed to disagree on certain things. But like, there is no doubt that like PIF, who own Live Golf, are buying 49% of that 25% stakeholding that SSG have done. So like, it just makes so much sense. I don't know what you guys think.
I thought Spieth's comments, I couldn't believe them when I was reading them, because I was like, this is a PGA Tour policy board guy. This is a guy who's there to represent the players on the tour. You know, he's like, these are some, like, look, a lot of professional athletes, their abilities are in their hands, or in their feet, or in their, they're not necessarily, their abilities aren't necessarily in their heads. But these guys have been elected and put forward there, like, to represent players. So you're assuming that they're putting, like, the smartest, the best suited people for the roles forward. And when I read Spieth's comments, I was like, I can't believe that this is the guy that's one of the guys that's representing the players there, because this is
he didn't
so
seem to understand.
naive. It's so
he didn't seem to understand
foolish.
the deal.
Complete lack of comprehension of what was happening from what I could see. Now, obviously, he's privy to more information than we are.
Yeah, but he's quite selective. He's quite selective on what he was commenting on. If you listen to Colin Morikawa,
it seemed to be he was thinking, right, we're getting $3 billion from these fellas. We don't need the PIF guys coming in with their.
Yeah, it was just. I don't know. He was
so black and white from that regard.
Yeah, he was very.
But the irony is that like Liv have spent, or the PIF have spent well over $2 billion in Liv alone on the last 2 years. And realistically, we kind of know that's to get them, to get a foot in the door with golf. That's like the amount of money that they could potentially spend down the line.
It's huge.
1.5 billion, or even the 3 billion in full. Let's say from the SSG. It's small potatoes compared to the potential spending of the PIF. So it just seemed so.
They just look like Muppets
naive,
now.
So short-sighted.
Yeah, but they look like Muppets now because they've said they could have had the SSG guys are going to want a return on their investment. There's no doubt about it. We don't know the length of this deal. Is it 5 years, 10 years? Is there no end to it? It's so we don't know the time scale on their investment. Like when Yasser met with Jay or tried to make contact with Jay 2 years ago, the Saudis wanted to do this years ago. And the tour said no to them. And the Saudis did not want an ROI on this at all. Like they had zero return on investment. It was just, we want to buy legitimacy. Keep doing what you're doing. We'll merge this in. We'll mess around with this a bit. Whereas now the tour have been dragged kicking and screaming into this deal, and the Saudis are getting their own way anyway. So I think players are starting to realise now that the only way this works is for the tours to work together. And the only way for golf to reach is like maximum reach and its maximum global valuation and income potential is to work together. And hence Rory McIlroy's comments of late, they kind of all make sense now that we know this deal that was going on in the background. And I'm sure Rory was heavily involved in this because the Fenway Sports Group with the Ball Frogs and the TGL and stuff like that he was all involved in as well. So these guys are no mugs, and like it is great to see professionals for a change in the boardroom taking over golf and where golf is going to go to in the future, because it just seemed we were making shit up for the last couple of years and putting out fires left, right and centre, be it Keith Pelly or Jay Monahan on what they're doing, and they've just been outmanoeuvred business wise by the Saudis, and that's it. But at least the SSG team bring a skill level to the table, and they will run this new company. Guys that are know the inside out business of running leagues and teams, and they know the global sports landscape more than most. And they will transfer certain things that they've learned from the Premier League, be it from Liverpool or NFL or baseball or basketball and all the teams that they own. And it seems to me like it's win-win for golf having these guys steer the course into the future. And it's only a matter of time before Jay Monahan. I don't know what Jay Monahan's job is going to be at the PGA Tour going forward. I can't see much of a role as a figurehead or doing what he's doing, because he's kind of steered the ship into the iceberg at this stage. So, I think we will hear a lot less. I hope we'll hear a lot less now going forward of players commenting on shit like this that they don't understand, and leave it to the big boys. Let the businessmen do what they do right and forge this deal out properly and steer the course of the tour. And you guys just go and play golf, because I'm kind of getting sick and tired of listening to players come out and have bitchy comments week in, week out about stuff that is way above their pay grade, and they just don't understand themselves. And I think case in point, Jordan Spieth coming out with his comments during the week, it just didn't sit well with a lot of players that actually understand what's going on.
Yeah, I think it was also interesting. Some players last week, I think Colin Morikawa was one, Max Homa another, and I'm not sure. I think somebody else. I can't think of them off the top of my head. They talked about the need to have a more exciting product going forward. So I mean, we've been complaining. Fans have been complaining for a long time about how you know, we don't care about how much money any of the players are making. We want an exciting product to watch. We want good tournaments covered well on TV. All of this sort of. Whereas, and look, when we haven't been getting that by and large,
Yeah.
the majority of the time, and I think there's been enough noise made about it that. Yeah, it seems like a lot of the players are kind of copping on, and that idea that like this is a minority sport. In the grand scheme of things, compared to I'm talking about it in terms of viewership and everything. It's a minority sport here, like compared to the likes of football and everything. It gets like a fraction of the viewers that a football match gets. In America, like the NFL, the basketball, even baseball, which is probably a distant third now at this point, all dwarf golf viewership on TV and everything. So I think a lot of the players are maybe kind of copping on it. Like, yeah, we are getting massively paid, and we're probably under delivering for the money that we're getting. So if that's recognized, and that's starting to be recognized by the players, it's 100% going to be recognized by the likes of the SSG guys.
Well, they'll be telling them what to do. They will be telling these lads, you're not sole contractors.
It can only
anymore.
bring positive things for TV viewers. We can look forward to watching better things, and that in the long run is getting everybody back together, of course.
But these guys will innovate. That's the difference. These guys will innovate. They will recreate and they will innovate. And that, like, where the PGA Tour are just seem to be all about sponsors for the last 20 years. Sponsors and TV deal, and trying to keep sponsors happy through ads and through whatever they do and how they deliver it. This is going to be a fan and media first model that these guys implement, and I think it's gonna be great for golf in the long run, and so are PIF. That's the thing that people find it hard to digest. Like, Live is becoming an established product now. Saudis are not going away. They are keen on golf. Like, Rory's on record, I don't know how many times he's saying it. Like, Yasser is a keen golfer, loves his golf, and is probably more interested in golf and the PGA Tour and Live than he is in all of their other sporting ventures, be that Newcastle or whatever they're doing globally, on the Saudi Premier League and stuff like that, and football, and like, he is just into it, and that's it. So, like, they mean well in their investment in golf. It's just people.
There are worse regimes.
But it's the source of the money. It's the source of the money people have problem with. But, like, if you look beyond that, which most people can't, because it's sports and it's sports washing, and I get that, and I understand those arguments. But at the end of the day, what they're doing with their money and how they're spending it, they have it there to spend anyway, and that's what McIlroy's saying. Like, golf needs to be a part of this because otherwise it's going to miss out as a sport. What I'm most interested in is, like, what does this mean for the European Tour? Because it doesn't look good. There's a lot of player unrest.
No, especially looking at the leaderboard, the field this week in Qatar, like, it's grim viewing.
Did you see the players' comments though? Mark, you did a piece. I know Bernie did a piece on the website last week about it as well, about player unrest. There was loads of players. I know I would take whatever Pablo Larrazabal says with a pinch of salt, because he sort of played with both feet last year and dipped his toe into both tours. But yeah, you've guys like Bobby Mack and stuff like that, like, publicly coming out just asking, what does this mean for us? And, like, I just hope that the PGA, like, so the DP World Tour players and people who are trying to make, like, this overall deal based on the strategic alliance that the DP World Tour have, I hope that the overall golf ecosystem is taken into account with this 3 billion plus and the investments, and the PGA Tour actually don't forget, like, that. Like, I know they invested in the DP World Tour during COVID, but really, if you flip it on its head, the DP World Tour saved the PGA Tour from bankruptcy by not teaming up with Live Golf and letting those guys use the European Tour as a vehicle to just smash global golf. Because there's no question, if Keith Pelly a couple of years ago listened to the players on the PGA Tour or on the European Tour, and went the direction that the players wanted to be, like the European Tour would be the most dominant tour in global golf right now, because it wouldn't have taken long to wash out 2, 3, 4, 5 billion into tournaments and attract the best players in the world, that there's no reason for them not to play in Europe if that investment was there. But we chose a strategic alliance with PGA Tour, and I just hope eaten bread is not soon forgotten.
Yeah, the DP World Tour wasn't mentioned once in the press statement from SSG and the PGA Tour, and Keith Pelly did like send a memo to the players. There wasn't an awful lot said in it. It was kind of like a lot of it was kind of like, don't worry, everything's going to be great. But there wasn't a lot of substance to it. Now, what he did say was that the strategic alliance stays, that the PGA Tour are have guaranteed like DP World Tour purses as part of the strategic alliance. Now they're minuscule purses really, and for the majority of it compared to the PGA Tour anyway. So it's probably more of a. It's more impressive than it seems, or sounds more impressive than it is, really. But they're also, the 10 cards are going to stay. So realistically, it probably reinforces that the DP World Tour is going to kind of remain as the feeder tour to the PGA Tour.
Yeah,
that's kind of really what I take from it. A lot remains to be seen, but probably not a lot is going to change for the DP World Tour.
It's going to get worse
if the PGA Tour does kind of like step up to the next level, and it's only going to make people more keen to get off the DP World Tour and get onto the PGA Tour. So yeah, it's going to be a feeder tour. It's going to remain that way.
Right, we should draw a line under this then. Get stuck into roundup. We've been long enough going through these bits. Gary Hurley at a Challenge Tour. If we focus on the Irish first on the Challenge Tour.
Yeah, so it's Gary's first tournament back since the Soudal Open and the DP World Tour last year I think it was in May, was the Soudal Open in Belgium. So Gary missed the cut there. I think it was his 7th missed cut in a row. Just his head had completely gone. So he stepped away from golf. I think he spent maybe 3 or 4 months without like even picking up a golf club.
Yeah,
didn't know if he was ever going to play golf again. He'd really kind of went into a really dark place. But he made his return this week. The Challenge Tour season got underway at the SDC Open in South Africa. So there's 3 Irish lads in the field. So Gary Hurley, Ronan Mullarney, and Dermot McIlroy. Unfortunately, Mullarney and McIlroy missed the cut. But Hurley played really well. Saw 3 rounds of 68, 4 under 68s in succession. Had a little bit of a disappointing last final round. Can't remember. I think it was. Did he finish in around the 30th or 31st or something like that overall?
Yeah.
But it was really positive in general. Could have went really low on the second day. I think he had a couple of missed putts or a few lip outs, and had a few touches of bad luck. Got a ball stuck up a tree on the last day. Twice hit a tree in the middle of the fairway and had the ball, scoot way left or way right and kind of get buried in the trees either side. But still,
positive signs though. Really
positive signs. And I mean, it's if you go away, like when obviously golf became really hard for him last year. He got onto the DP World Tour.
His struggles are well documented over the years. Yeah,
it's the first tournament back. You have he had no idea what to expect. I mean, obviously he's playing. Obviously he's practicing. Things are going reasonably well in practice, but with a scorecard in hand, nobody had any idea what was gonna come out. Probably least of all him. So excellent effort, and he's back in the field again now this week. Gone down to Cape Town. So yeah, hoping for good things again.
Yeah. And I know we didn't have any runners or riders in the Bahrain Open either, but Dylan Fratelli claimed that title. There wasn't much for us to cover in this, but like I suppose it's one positive of the other way when we've Pavon gone over using the 10 cards that we have given out. So Dylan Fratelli is the opposite. He won actually on the PGA Tour not only 3 years ago, and he finished outside the top 125, and he was one of the players that have dropped back to the DP World Tour and tried to win by getting his card back this year. He'll actually get a better category card than he had last year if he finishes top 10. So he's got off to a flyer of a start on that and looked really, really solid. So he's into all the Rolex events now as a winner. So a huge step from him trying to win his way back to the PGA Tour. So I suppose it's good to see that it's a double reverse, whatever you want to call it, working from both tours, back doors, side doors, attics, basements, whatever way.
Going through the qualifiers.
Exactly, yeah. Going through the motions to get back. But no, it's good to see that the opportunity is there both ways on that. Amateur-wise, Minute and UCD, Ronan, making the headlines.
Yeah, so the Student Tour Series headed to Portugal last week, and UCD student Emma Fleming had a wire-to-wire victory on her tournament debut as well. She won by 4 shots on 2 over par after a final round of 73. She pips Lauren McClymonde, who last year pretty much won there every week on the student tour, and Kate Lanigan also came in the tie second as well after she won in Italy just before Christmas. Minutes obviously are always quite dominant in the men's section, and Ryan Griffin shot a final round of 68 to finish 1 shot off the leads, which was eventually won by William Liu of Sweden. I think he held on for a 1-shot win despite a final round of 76. But no, great to see Emma win. Like, she's only 18 years of age. Tournament debut, just started off in UCD, an Irish international as well. Like, she's one of the, I suppose, the younger generation of amateurs we have coming up through the roof there. We have Rebecca Coulters, we've our Kate Lanigan, Anya Dunnigan, Sarah Byrne, but she's a little bit behind that in the younger section. But like, it just shows the strengths of the female amateur game in this country. Like, we have a lot of young girls who are 16, 17, 18 who are already Irish internationals. So like, the sooner we can get a few more of these into college, whether it be in America or in Europe, like, there should be more wins on the Student Tour Series, especially on the women's side as well, because up until this year, really, we didn't really have anybody competing on the women's section. It was all very minute dominate on the men's side. So nice to
see UCD kicking on.
Not really, but
like, aside from that, we'll get stuck into Heroes and Villains. I did see disappointing news. I seen Bernard Langer tore his ACL the other day, a week after announcing it was his final Masters, and now he's going to miss it. So he hasn't announced whether he'll kick it into next year and have a go.
He has to.
He has to
play.
Benjamin Button, but yeah, no, disappointing to see that. Now, I don't know what he was doing, but tore his ACL, which is devastating from him at his age. Right, into Heroes and Villains to wrap it up. Who wants to go first? Heroes.
I'll go. My hero for the week is Tyrrell Hatton.
Right.
All this nonsense about live golfers not getting world ranking points. My man Tyrrell is charging up there. He moved from 16th to 15th in the official world golf rankings after his wonderful live debut at the weekend.
How did that happen?
I don't know when it happened.
Because John Rahm dumped himself out, probably.
I don't know how it happened. I just checked there to see how high Pavon had gone after another good finish, and I just saw Tyrrell was 15th in the world there. I was like, oh, fair play to him.
Right, Mark, your hero.
My hero this week is Tom Brady. So Tom Brady, you might people might remember Tom Brady playing in the match a couple of years ago, along with it was him and Phil Mickelson against Tiger Woods and Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
And like Brady, like he became so relatable to the average golfer, and that he couldn't keep the ball on the planet. He ended up ripping the arse of his trousers, just having a horrible time, and then ended up holing out for like an eagle or for birdie on one of the holes.
He chipped in.
But it was great to have, but it was so relatable to the average golfer. And this is Tom Brady, like uber wealthy, married to a supermodel at the time, whatever. Like not relatable in any way, but on that day he was. Well, Tom Brady was playing in the Pebble Beach Pro-Am as well at the weekend. I'm guessing by the looks in your faces you didn't see this.
No, I did.
He topped a drive. It went. He hit the ball at like 12 o'clock. I hit the ball right at the very top of it. It went about, I'd say, about 6 feet max.
Yeah.
But he reacted. He kind of tried to play it off as though it had gone like way down the fairway, as like his body language. And next thing he kind of walked forward a little bit, looking sheepish, and had to play his second shot from literally about 6 feet in front of where he was taking his tee shot from. So I don't think I'll ever be able to. I was never going to be able to look at Tom Brady without seeing the ripped trousers or the ripped rain gear that time. I was like, now I'll never see him without thinking about that top drive.
Top drive.
I don't care. He's won 7 Super Bowls. He's a shit golfer, and I love it.
No. Well, my hero for the week, I was scrolling through Twitter or X or whatever it's called now, and there was one video that was shared on the drive, chip and putt line, the junior thing from the Masters. So a kid, he's no more than 9 or 10, receiving his invitation letter, and he opened it up, and his parents were like, "Oh, what is it?" And he just went full Harry Higgs, top off, start roaring down the hall, and his mum just sat there with her head in her hands, like laughing, going, "What are we raring?" So yeah, it gave me a chuckle anyway. So he's my hero of the week.
Oh yeah, they'll appreciate him at Augusta National.
Yeah, stop.
He'll be giving a stern talking to now as soon as he gets in. As soon as he gets in the gates.
If we have any of your antics, that'll be it. Right, villains, lads.
You.
All right, go on.
Just for making us do this on a bank holiday Monday. What's going on?
Right, that's your villain card used. Right, go on, Mark.
Right, I'm gonna go for Slugger White.
Okay.
Slugger White, the live chief rules official guy. So the 2-shot penalty Joaquin Niemann got. Look, I'm not disputing it. It probably it does look as though he drops it from outside the allocated 1 club distance or whatever,
and closer to the hole.
But this was like because John Ram was one of his closest challengers at the time. It looked as though it was going to make the tournament more exciting, or give a better chance of a Ram win. The big acquisition. It's like Slugger White has had Patrick Reed on that tour for 2 years, and he hasn't found him taking one bad drop. Don't try and tell me Patrick Reed hasn't taken 6 or 7 bad drops in that time, and Slugger White never caught a single one of them. But yet he caught Niemann this time. So he's a villain for all the ones Reeds he missed.
No, perfect. Right. I actually have 2 villains, and I'm going to agree with you on one of them.
Oh, lovely.
So the first villain I'm going to call out is Brandel.
Peter Finnan.
Brandel the Brandel. I'm not sure if you've seen him on Twitter. Like, he's had plenty of spats, but he was biting hard over the weekend. He's obviously at Pebble Beach, and he's not happy with how Live are going, and it's gaining all this traction online, and people seem to be watching it and switching onto it. So some guy wrote, I've seen more golf shots in 10 minutes of watching Live than I did over an hour of the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. PGA Tour needs to fix its TV coverage. It's horrific. And Brandel's reply, you've also seen players who all play for a dictatorial murder, who play for a man who treats women as chattel and homosexuals as criminals, but let's make this about the TV coverage. Yawn. So he just can't park the source of everything, and he's entitled to his opinion, but he's just a bit like a broken record now at this stage.
He's like one of the most catty people on social media. Like he refuses to accept even the slightest little bit of criticism. I remember a few years ago when he was claiming that Dustin Johnson's drive at the Sentry was like the greatest shot of all time.
Yeah.
And anytime anybody like just like tried to, and you had these people like genuinely going on to it, I don't think so, or I disagree, Brandel. He just like he got so bitchy about it. How dare you disagree with me, and was blocking people just for having a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
I think he's got more people blocked on Twitter than probably
Mickelson.
Yeah.
But
that's saying something.
No, it is. No, definitely. And then the last villain is actually myself. So I had a bit of a boo-boo at the weekend. I need to apologise to a couple of lads. So what's the worst thing you can do when you're booked in for a game of golf?
Not turn up.
Yes, exactly. Bang. Hole in one, Rowan, and well done.
Were you drinking?
So it was lashing rain on Saturday morning. I decided, so
I thought you were going to have a decent excuse.
So I didn't. I put into a text WhatsApp group. No, I'm going to take the kids out. I'm not playing in this. It's not. It's in bits out there. So went in. A couple of hours later, came out. Sun was literally like splitting the stones. It was flat cammed. There was no rain. It was dry. And the lads that actually thought I was coming let a group go through, thinking I was late, and then realised he's actually not showing up. So to Niall, Scott and Mick, I'm very sorry for not showing up. So
wow.
yeah.
Well, there's only one.
I tell you what, if something like that happens at one of your Irish golfer events and you're bitching about it, oh God, I'm going to remember this.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't good.
There's only one remedy for that, Niall, Scott and Mick, and that's kick him out of the group. That's the only way forward.
Well, they were actually voting on that. They were voting on that, and yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I don't know what's going to happen. There's a committee being set up and everything, but yeah, apparently the conversation went like they were, when they stopped eventually giving out about me after like 3 holes. One of them said, "What if there's actually something wrong with them?" And then one of the other lads says, "Yeah, there is. He's a prick." So that's how we landed. But yeah, so I have to send my apologies to the lads. So it won't happen again. And yeah, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it won't happen again because you won't be invited.
Exactly. Yeah, no. So that's it. I think we've dragged it on long enough. This is probably one of our longest pods, lads. With a lot to get through, and I just wanted to keep rolling a bit longer on a bank holiday Monday so we could crib and moan a bit more. So, yeah, cheers for tuning in, and we'll be back again next week. If you want to keep up with anything online or any of our social channels, visit irishgolfer.ie. And as I said last week, our events went live. We are adding a few more events into the schedule this week, but there's 15 up there already to be booked, and a fair few of them are booking out quite quick. So if you do want to get along to any of them next year, have a look online there now, irishgolfer.ie/events. So from us this week, cheers for tuning in, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.